The Soviet training method helped me and millions of men complete 100 push-ups per set, not per day, per set. Now I know that sounds impossible if you're stuck at 15 right now, but don't worry. This exact system is so good that it also works for you if you have never done a single push-up in your life. And Alex, my friend, who started with 5 push-ups per set, can prove it. So without wasting any time, let's get into the method that actually made mine and Alex's push-ups much stronger. Because if you don't understand the method first, the protocol I followed won't really make sense. Most people try to just give more power in the push-ups to bang out just one more rep. Funny enough, that's also the exact reason most people stay stuck. Because here's the interesting part. Your muscles usually aren't the real limiting factor. Your nervous system is. Think about the first time you drove a car. You're gripping the wheel like your life depends on it, checking every mirror, overthinking every little move. But after driving for months, you just drive. Your brain handles everything almost on autopilot, and honestly, strength works in a very similar way. I hope this was a good example for you. Anyway, when you train your nervous system properly, your body starts performing movements more efficiently without wasting energy. That's exactly what the Soviets figured out. They called it greasing the groove, a method developed by a Soviet Special Forces trainer named Pavel Tsatsouline. Your nervous system controls how many muscle fibers fire on every rep and how fast they fire too. More fibers firing faster, that's basically more strength, without even needing bigger muscles. And there's actually a neuroscience principle behind this called Hebb's Law. Neurons that fire together wire together. So every time you do a push-up while you're still fresh, not exhausted, that nerve pathway gets stronger and faster. So let's quickly get into the exact protocol I followed. The goal was simple. See how many reps I could add in 10 weeks. But before you start, test your max push-ups and write the number down, because that's exactly what I did, and we're gonna need that number later. Now take that number, like my max was 20. Then just take 50% of it. So 50% of 20 is 10. Now in your case, it might be different. Maybe your max is 7, so 50 would be about 3.5. At that point, you can either go with 3 or 4. And honestly, if you ask me, just go for 4. We're not solving a NASA equation here. That number becomes your working set. And by the way, there's a hidden code somewhere in this video, like always. Whoever finds it gets both my workout and mobility books for free. Links in the description. Anyway, for me, 10 became my working reps. But instead of destroying myself in one brutal workout, I spread 10 sets of 10 reps across the entire day. Exactly how greasing the groove suggests. Like 1 set after waking up, 1 mid-morning, 1 before lunch, 1 after. I just kept spreading them out until I completed all 10 sets. And I know, it sounds like a lot at first, but honestly, each set only took around 20 seconds. I probably spend more time deciding what to eat for breakfast. Anyway, by the end of the day, I had done 100 total reps. That's 5 times more than my original max. And I know we want to go for 100 push-ups per set, not per day, so stay with me here. In the end, it will make much more sense, because that alone wasn't the whole thing. I was also using another technique that made the results way more effective, and we'll get into that in a second. But for now, here's the most important part of the entire protocol. After every single set, you should feel like you can instantly do the same number again. No burn, no crazy pump, and no breathing like you just escaped a lion. If you feel any of that, honestly, you went too hard. That's why I said you need to take 50% of your max to avoid this problem. And the best way to think about it is like charging a battery. Fast charging fills it quickly, but slowly damages it over time. Slow charging takes longer, but fills the battery properly and keeps it healthy for years. And honestly, your nervous system works pretty much the same way. So after setting all this up, I had another question. How many days per week should I actually do this? I decided on 6 days a week. Day 7 was complete rest, and there's actually a reason for that. That rest day is when your nervous system starts consolidating everything you built during the week, because that's really the whole goal of the GTG method. So after 2 weeks, I retested my max. It had jumped from 20 to 30. At that point, I knew this thing was actually working, and I'm not gonna lie, that gave me a lot of motivation. Now I was just impatiently waiting for the final result. It genuinely felt like something big was about to happen, but we'll talk about that later. For now, 50% of 30 became 15 reps, so 15 became my new working set for the next 2 weeks. But now comes the one rule Soviet coaches never, ever compromised on, and honestly, neither did I. And personally, I really feel this made my final results way better. You can try it yourself and tell me in the comments if you feel the same. Most people think push-ups only train the chest, shoulders, and arms, but honestly, the Soviets looked at it completely differently. They saw the body as one connected system, and that's really the difference between someone who just does push-ups and someone who actually looks like they do push-ups. So here's the science behind it. When you squeeze one muscle hard, the electrical signal doesn't just stay there, it spreads to nearby muscles and forces them to fire harder too. Imagine your body like a chain. One weak link and force starts leaking everywhere. But full body tension removes those weak links. Suddenly, your push-ups stop being just an arm exercise and become a full body strength movement. Everything fires together. So to copy this technique, here's what I did. Before the very first rep, I set up 3 tension points at the same time. First, the hands. I pressed them into the floor like I was trying to rip it apart. Then, I gently rotated my palms outward without actually moving them, almost like opening 2 tight jars at once. And honestly, the first time I did it, I felt muscles turning on that I didn't even know were invited to the workout. That instantly locks tension through the forearms, shoulders, and upper back. After that, the core. Big breath in, then brace the stomach like someone's about to punch you in the gut, and keep your ribs pulled down, not flaring up toward the ceiling. Then finally, the glutes. I squeezed them as hard as I could and held that squeeze through the entire set. And yes, honestly, it feels weird at first. But this was the technique that made my push-ups feel way stronger. And now, let's see what the final results actually were. After every 2 weeks, I retested my max, and honestly, it kept increasing little by little every single time. And then, somewhere around week 10, something weird happened. Push-ups just stopped feeling difficult. They became normal. Like honestly, as easy as brushing my teeth. Well, maybe slightly harder because toothpaste doesn't burn your chest, but that's exactly what I told you at the start of the video. Your nervous system learns the movement and eventually turns it into a habit. Now it was finally time to test my max reps. At week 8, I had already reached 82 reps, so I was genuinely hoping I could hit the 100 mark by week 10. So I went for the test, and honestly, once I reached 95, everything started burning. I pushed for 3 more reps, but right there I remembered the whole GTG principle, never go to failure. So I stopped at 98. Now honestly, I probably could have forced out another 10 ugly reps, but I stopped there on purpose because I knew if I stayed consistent with the method, the number would naturally keep increasing over time anyway. So yeah, in just 10 weeks, I went from 20 push-ups to 98, and honestly, that felt insanely satisfying. But now I want to know what you think. Let me know in the comments, and if this method sounds valuable to you, definitely give it a try. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.